All right, what's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome to this video. My name is Chris Albert, and I'm from the Warrior Soul podcast. On that podcast, I empower the U.S. military veteran community and anybody else who's willing to listen with tools, tactics, strategies, and ideas to help them to live their best lives. And like I said, if you're not a veteran, stick around because anything I talk about here could help you out as well. Reason why I do these videos, I have the podcast and I go in depth on a lot of those subjects. I also bring on a lot of people who are a lot smarter than I am for interviews. The purpose of these videos, on the other hand, is to give you something short, something sweet, something you can take with you. So if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, but also make sure that you're subscribed to the Warrior Soul podcast so that you can get a more in-depth discussion of some of the subjects I bring up here. Like I said, this week I brought on somebody who is a lot smarter than I am, Mr. Charlie Chena. He's the author of the book Expose and Close. He's one of the most successful salespeople in the world, and he brought some of his tools and concepts to talk to our community about how they can use words to advance themselves. In this video, what I want to do is I want to give you my top 3 rules. Top 3 things that you need to know if you want success in this lifetime. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to approach these from reverse order. So I'm going to start with the third one, then the second one, and then the first one. So stick around so that you get all 3. And like I said, if you like what I have to say, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, make sure. All right, so let's get into this list. Number 3 is an extremely important one, and that's learning how to communicate. And I can't emphasize this enough. You could be really good at your job. I know so many people who are great trainers, they're great technicians, they're great engineers, they're great at computer programming, but they don't really know how to talk and they don't know how to communicate with people. If you want to get anywhere in this life, you're going to need other people. You are going to need other people. And to do that, you're going to have to learn how to influence. Like I said, I brought Charlie Chena onto the show this week, specifically because he's really great at this. The way he describes it, he uses words. He's a master of using words. And words generate emotions, and emotions generate perceptions, either positive or negative. And when you can generate those types of perceptions, you can actually influence. Whether your aim is to increase sales, whether your aim is to advance yourself in your job, whether your aim is to actually communicate better with your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, or your boyfriend, right? There are so many things that words can do for you, and being effective at speaking can do for you. You also have to be really effective at writing, because a lot of the communications we're using these days occurs over email, occurs through written text. And so if you're not great at communicating yourself via the written word, you should really practice at that. There's a lot of really easy and free ways that you can actually improve your speaking and improve your writing. The easiest way I think to do it is to actually do what I'm doing right now. Start your own YouTube channel, right? Set it up. It's absolutely free. Start speaking to a camera a couple of times a week, just about any subject. It doesn't matter if you find success or anything like that, right? I've done this channel for years and I'm not a massive gazillion subscribed YouTuber or anything like that. The reason why I do this is to improve my talking, to improve my ability to communicate my ideas. And to be honest with you, when I started this channel, I had no desire to create a business out of it or anything like that. The reason why I started was because it was kind of therapy for me. I actually had something that I could do, a way that I could speak, a way that I could communicate my ideas. And that's kind of the same way I got into podcasting as well. I wanted to get some ideas out there in the world, and I just sat down with my computer and a microphone and a recording program, and I just talked for about 45 minutes. And I liked doing it, and I kept putting it out there, and I developed a whole mission around it. And that's how I got started in doing what I'm doing today. So you never know where this is going to take you. And like I said, if you're shy, don't worry about it. It's actually really hard to actually get people to view your stuff here on YouTube. It's free, it's a tool, you can utilize it. Another way you could do it is by signing up for a Toastmasters International group, right? They're all over the country. They're all over the world. You can get in with one of these groups and you can actually get some professional speaking training, right? Another thing you could do if you're young and you haven't figured out your career yet, maybe you're still in the military, maybe you're just thinking about getting out of college, thinking about getting out of the military and about to graduate college, not thinking about it. Maybe you can try to get yourself a sales position. I know it's a little bit scary. You're working off of commission only, but it's a great way to learn how to sell and learn how to use words in order to get paid, right? And that's the big thing that people get out of a sales position. You're gonna have to learn how to sell. Everybody sells no matter what you're doing, whether you're selling to your significant other, whether you're selling to your kids, or whether you're selling products. And it's a skill that you should learn, that you should know, and regardless, you're gonna need to know how to communicate. Number 2, also really, really, really important. And this involves knowing what you know, knowing your strengths, but also knowing your weaknesses, knowing what you don't know. Really, really important factor. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret that you probably already know. And that is that you're not good at everything. I'm not good at everything. I can give you a list a mile long of things that I'm not good at. And this is extremely important if you're going to get ahead in life, because in order to find success, you got to understand where you're going to fall short. You need to understand what you need to work on. But more importantly, you also need to understand what you shouldn't be working on. Now, I'll give you an example of this. I used to love basketball. When I was a kid, I would play for hours every day out in my driveway. But here's the thing. I was never really good at it. Now, I could try to, work as hard as I could. I could hire a trainer. But guess what? Chris Albert isn't ever making it to the NBA. Definitely not. Not in a million years. Even if I trained with the best, even if I took a million steroids, even no matter what I do, I would never get to the NBA. And this is a really important concept for you to understand. There's certain things you shouldn't be putting your focus on. If you're extremely weak at something and there's no chance of you ever getting better at it, or if it's not worth you actually learning how to get better at it, you need to figure out how you can outsource that, how you can get somebody else to do it. There's certain things in my business that I am really not good at. I'm really not good at setting up landing pages. I'm really not good at some of the programming stuff. So I hop onto Fiverr.com or I hop onto one of the contracting websites. I find somebody who's much better at it than I am, and they can get the job done quicker and more efficiently than I ever could. All right. So you need to know who, or I say who because you also need to find out who you need in order to get it done. But you need to know what you're not good at so that you can do that in the first place. Right? That's also really important when you're setting up a business. If you're looking for a business partner, you don't want somebody who's going to be good at the same things you are. You want somebody who's going to complement your talents, know what you're strong at, and then find somebody who's going to fill in the holes on the things that you're weak at. Another big reason why you want to know this here is because, well, there's going to be some things that you're going to need to improve on. Right? Some of the things that you're not going to be able to outsource. For example, I just mentioned one, speaking, right? Nobody can be hired to be you, right? If you're trying to build a brand, if you're trying to start a business, you can't hire somebody to speak for you. You could hire a spokesperson or something like that, but it's just not going to be the same. You can't hire somebody to communicate with your wife. Right? So there's going to be some things that you need to work on, right? And so the first step in that is admitting to those weaknesses and then seeking help, seeking training, seeking people who can guide you along, right? Seeking mentors, finding books, right? Finding books where you can read about things like how to sell, or read about things like how to communicate, or read about things like how to get fit, right? You can't hire somebody to get fit for you, all right? So that's a big thing. Know what your strengths are, know what your weaknesses are, know what you shouldn't be working on, and on the things that you can't outsource, find resources to make you better at those, all right? Then we come to number one, but first I want to see this. If you are looking for more content from Warrior Soul, right, head over to www.warriorsoulagoge.com. We've got so many resources up there. We've got interviews from some amazing people. I'm talking about Chris Bell, the maker of Bigger, Stronger, Faster. I'm talking about people like Les Stroud, the Survivor Man. Next month, I'm bringing on Mr. Robert Greene, the author of The 48 Laws of Power and the Laws of Human Nature. We are bringing on some amazing people on that show, and don't miss out. Head over to the website, warriorsoulagoge.com. That's A-G-O-G-E. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, and make sure you subscribe to this channel. So with all of that said, let's get on to the most important concept you're going to learn today, and that's this. If you want to find success in life, you need to know what you want. You need to know what you want to accomplish in this life. And you see this with a lot of people. Some people learn what it is earlier, right? And those people are usually the people who see a lot of really early success. They know what they want. They get really focused. They get the training they need. They go out there, get the education they need, and they make it happen. Some people, like myself, and I'm telling you this from experience, well, we drift, never really knowing what we want. And the big reason why people drift is because they've never actually sat down to figure out what they want versus what their family wants for them, what their parents want for them, what their friends want for them. And that was me. My whole family really wanted me to go to college, and then they really wanted me to go and get my PhD. The only thing I ever really did that was on my own that I really wanted to do was join the Marine Corps. And once I did that, and once it was over, well, I didn't really know what I wanted after that. So I just started pursuing what my family wanted for me. And it wasn't until years into my PhD, studying political science, that I figured out, well, guess what? This isn't really what I wanted at all. This is what everybody else wanted for me. And I found myself in a really miserable position, and I ended up spending a lot of money and a lot of time on a degree I was never going to use in the first place. So this is the biggest thing I can tell you. This is super important. You need to sit down and you need to figure out exactly what you want. The way to start with that is by actually writing yourself a vision. And when I'm talking about a vision, I'm not just talking about, hey, I want $1 million, or hey, I want a beautiful wife, or I want a Lamborghini in my driveway, or anything like that. What you need to be putting in there are the real details, right? Where are you waking up? Who are you waking up next to? What is your wife like? What is your husband like? What is your partner like? What are your kids' names? How are you spending your day, hour by hour, right? What does your morning look like? What does your afternoon look like? Who are you spending your time with? Who are you helping? What are you dedicating yourself to, right? What does your house look like? What is the color, right? What environment are you living in? What's your mindset like, right? What's your fitness like? What's your body like? All these different things. What hobbies are you practicing? A good way of doing this is to sit down and to turn on your favorite music, pull out a pen, pull out a piece of paper, and just write what you would like your perfect life to look like without any rules, right? Don't think, oh, this is impossible or that's impossible. Write it down with no rules, no laws of physics or anything like that, and just put it down on paper. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with like The Secret or anything like that, or bring manifesting things or anything like that. What it has to do with is actually admitting to yourself what you really want. A lot of you are in denial of what you really want because you think it's impossible, or you think you're going to disappoint your parents, or you think that your significant other isn't going to love you anymore. And that's the way we get caught up in this cycle of going down paths that we never wanted to be on in the first place. So I'm not going to go into everything about what needs to go into a vision. I know that's a really kind of cursory overview. What I am going to do is I'm going to post a link to a video below where I do cover some of the details on this and the things you need to do. The biggest thing is that if you're in a tight spot, you might not be able to come up with a good vision, right? If you're depressed, if you're feeling entrapped or anything like that, you might not be able to come up with a good vision. So there's going to be some things that you need to do to kind of prime your brain in order to do that. And then that video that I'll provide you with will help you with that as well. So that's what I got today, guys. I hope that this was helpful. And again, I realize my position here on YouTube. I realize that probably not more than a couple of hundred people are going to see this video. And I'm fine with that. But if I reached one of you today, if I change just somebody's perspective on something, if I've gotten you to think, if I've gotten you to put yourself into a better position, then I'm happy. And that's all I really want from this. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll look forward to talking to you guys soon.